Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to finally have a look at a Tarnished Archaeologist. This person has been recommended to me so many times, so we're going to have a look at some of their videos. I decided to just pick out the first two because I've been told that a lot of their videos build up on each other, so you kind of need the early ones to understand the later ones. I wasn't really sure where to start because it feels like a lot of these videos are not connected, but then people also said they were connected. So I just picked out the first two and we're just gonna have a quick little look and see what this is all about. I gathered so far that this person analyzes the architecture and archaeology of Elden Ring and makes theories on some of the lore bits, okay? This is important because I think it's all just theories. Nothing is confirmed. I think it's all just suspicions and guessing based on what's in the game. But it seems like it's a really interesting, deeper layer of the Elden Ring lore. So ever since the first person taught me about it, I was really intrigued. So I'm really curious to find out what this is all about. So yeah, if you're new here, I'm Becca. I'm a FROMSOFT streamer over on Twitch. I'm currently playing through all FromSoft games for the very first time. We're currently playing through Dark Souls 1 the Remaster, and we've already beaten Elden Ring and Sekiro once. So if you're interested in seeing all my live first reactions to the FromSoft games, feel free to follow me over there and hang out with us. And yeah, let's hop into the video. Okay, as far as I can tell, this is the first video they have ever uploaded. It's called The Secret of the It's called The Secret of the Erdtree's First Burn. It was uploaded 1 year ago and has 80,000 views. Yeah, very curious what this is all about, so... Okay, let's go. Everything had changed and was buried deep in ash like snow. Ooh, look at that. I never expressed any fear, but only kept going by the consolation that the whole world was perishing within me. Oof, epic intro. I like it. I like it.
The Golden Erdtree is the dominant visual feature of the Lands Between for its many inhabitants, and serves as an omnipresent reference point for the player character as they explore the land's many domains.
True.
The thesis of this video is that the original Erdtree is dead, having already been burnt during a specific past crisis.
Oh.
And that the current version of the Erdtree we see in-game, the toweringly impressive golden form we all instantly recognize, is nothing but an illusion. A persistent object of faith and reverence despite the fact that its age has clearly passed.
Straight in with a problematic accusation. What the heck? Very serious talk. Oh my god, I like it. It's like very mysterious and ominous so far. I don't know. It's very different vibe to what I've watched so far.
When we enter the capital city of Leyndell, we are greeted by somber melodies, oracles trumpeting the arrival of a new lord, and a visual spectacle unlike any we've seen.
It's so pretty.
Worthy of the Vikings' awestruck description of Constantinople. Quote, "We knew not whether we were in heaven or on earth. We only knew that God dwells there among the people, and their service is fairer than the ceremonies of other nations." End quote.
Oh, that's sick.
But as we explore the city further, we begin to notice the unmistakable evidence of a prior cataclysm. Yes, there is that one. But beyond Grand Sax's entry, we see a city in despair. Soldiers roam the streets or sit in resignation, having apparently long abandoned their patrols.
Bit sad, isn't it?
Piles of ash clutter the streets and obstruct pathways and arches.
Isn't that because we set the tree on fire at this point in the game? Oh, it's the tree. No, the tree is not on fire when we first come here, right? Which is the reason why they probably suspect that the tree has burned before.
The source of the ash is clear, as we see at the end of the game when the current version of the Erdtree is burnt.
Okay.
Leyndell turns into a capital
Also, those weapons are sick. What are those? I want those.
Of ash. And perhaps most curiously of all, yellow wax seals the doorways and windows of the houses of the capital.
Oh, I didn't notice that. Huh.
These last two paint a very specific picture. Ash has accumulated on the ground all throughout the capital, so much so that its citizens have taken to sealing their doors to prevent the ash from entering their dwellings. This brings to
Interesting.
mind the practice of families in the American Midwest during the catastrophe of the Dust Bowl, who would seal their windows and doors in vain attempts to prevent the incessant dust from entering their homes.
I didn't notice those, like the windows, not the American bit, but like the windows being shut, like sealed. Huh. How did I not notice that? Interesting detail. I like it. I like the attention to detail this man has to analyze the situation. It's so plain and open inside, but you as a player don't really pay attention to it when you play it yourself. It's really interesting.
So, the Erd tree was burnt once before, and it is the source of the ash in the contemporary version of Langdell. The prior burning event was so destructive to the working of the capital that its citizens took very specific measures to counteract it, but are nonetheless left in the sorry state that we find them in game.
Oh, are those the
But then, what is the current version of the Erd
people
tree
living
that
there?
we see? Well, the golden seed item description makes it clear. Quote, a golden seed found at the base of an illusory tree.
Oh.
When the Elden Ring was shattered, these seeds flew from the Erd tree, scattering across the various lands, as if life itself knew that its end had come. End quote.
It's so obvious.
This item description explicitly tells us that the golden trees under which we find the golden seeds are illusions, the implicit juxtaposition being with the minor Erd trees, offspring of the Erd tree, which we can see are made of actual physical wood and bark.
Okay, we already know from a past video that the seeds that make these tiny trees are seeds from the Erd tree itself. So we already know that. So what he's saying does make sense. It's so obvious as well because it's just the item description and then the ash in the doors. I don't know, so in plain sight. But I don't think I've ever heard anyone talk about it.
Furthermore, the Blessed Dew Talisman description reads, quote, talisman depicting a drop of the Erd tree's sap, a blessed boon. It was once thought that the blessed sap of the Erd tree would drip from its boughs forever, but that age of plenty swiftly came to a close, and with time, the Erd tree became more an object of faith, end quote.
Huh.
Rather than simply succumbing to the inevitable decline of all living things, the swift end to this bountiful age indicates a specific destructive event, which we now know is the first burning of the Erd tree.
That makes so
When it
much
was
sense.
replaced with its current form, the golden spectral illusion, it became merely an object of faith.
I have wondered before why the Erd tree is like shiny and golden. I have thought before that it looks more like a almost transparent, see-through kind of ghost version of a tree. But I just accepted it. I never like questioned it further. I just took it as cool fancy element. I don't know, it looks just pretty.
Indeed, we even know of another example of a golden illusion that anyone who's played the game will instantly recognize.
Yes.
The first Godfrey fight.
Love that
The
one.
Godfrey that we fight in the first encounter is explicitly referred to as Godfrey the First Elden Lord, a moniker referring to his past glory, and the axe he wields in game is unbroken. Contrast this to his second corporeal boss fight as Horalu, and we see the broken axe, which we know specifically was, quote, broken in a battle fought as leader of the Tarnished during the Long March, end quote.
True.
If
That's
the
why it
axe
was
was
really fun.
broken during the Long March, then the first Godfrey fight must be a golden illusion conjured of him prior to his tarnishing, at the peak of his powers.
Huh.
Unless there be any lingering doubt about its prior destruction, the current Erd tree even contains a sliver of its original form, the small window of bark and wood at its base.
True. It makes so much sense to like question it, right? Because why is there like a shiny outer part? Like, I'm pretty sure I even thought about it when I reached it, but like I just kind of accepted it. Like I didn't even realize that there could be a deeper meaning to it. Knowing a little bit more about the lore now, I could have figured, but I didn't. I just didn't.
This is all that remains of the original Erd tree's form. This gives new meaning to the descriptions of the sacred tier, which read, quote, "Blessing of the Erd Tree, worshipped in the churches of all lands. This is but a faint vestige. During the age of the Erd Tree, these tiers were used to spread the faith," end quote. Now we know why the age of the Erd Tree is referred to in the past tense here, and why its blessings are but mere vestiges.
Such a tiny
Several
detail.
obvious questions remain, namely, who, when, and perhaps most pressingly, why? The when is implied by the aforementioned golden seed description to be during the shattering of the Elden Ring. Just as the civil war that followed became known as, quote, the shattering of the Elden Ring seems to be describing a specific catastrophe that involved the first burning of the Erd Tree. When the player character burns the spectral, illusory Erd Tree at the end of the game, they do so in order to brandish the broken Elden Ring and forge a new order of their choosing. The obvious symmetry of an initial Erd Tree burning event which caused the shattering of the ring, and the subsequent burning event which allows its mending, is no doubt deliberate on the part of the developers. Furthermore, the Golden Seed description even tells us the mechanism of this catastrophe, as it states, quote, "When the Elden Ring was shattered, these seeds flew from the Erd Tree," end quote. Many species of coniferous tree actually need fire to spread their seeds, a process known as serotiny. Serotinous pine cones are initially dormant, their seeds sealed with resin, but during a forest fire, heat causes the cones to open up, releasing the seeds to be carried by heat drafts and scatter across the land.
Yo, that's sick. That comparison.
Indeed, many forests actually need periodic fires to maintain the overall health of the forest. If one does not allow the natural cycle of growth, burning, and regrowth, the entire forest suffers.
Okay, kind of beautiful though. If you think about it, it's like deeper meaning and shit. But like, oh, I love that. Like the comparison to real life. Now I know. I get now why you guys recommended this person to me. Oh my god, that's sick. I love that. The amount of work and detail that is like, you gotta have like knowledge. You gotta have to like make these comparisons. It's crazy.
Likewise, the who in this whodunit is fairly obvious as well. Melina, the Kindling Maiden. Melina burnt the Erd Tree before, though her accomplices are less clear.
Oh, the scars. Do you guys think that's from burning? Doing this before? I don't think that's ever explained, right?
Indeed, that is why she yet lives, in her own words, quote, burnt and bodiless, end quote. She is the Kindling Maiden, and when she meets with her mother Marika in the Erd Tree, she is reminded of her singular purpose in life, to burn down the Erd Tree.
O Erd Tree, you shall burn.
This scene,
I wish to
goosebumps.
journey with you once more to the flame of ruin, far above
once
the
more.
clouds, upon the snowy mountain tops of the giants. Then I can set the Erd Tree aflame and guide you down the path to becoming Elden Lord.
Melina's entire arc, from her coyly offering us an accord, playing the role of maiden, even helping us defeat Morgoth the Omen King, right through to the end of the game, is to fulfill her original purpose given to her by her mother inside the Erd Tree, to finish what she started and destroy the Erd Tree. The why of this plot is inextricably related to the question of how this first attempt failed.
Oh,
And that
it
is
failed.
a story for another day.
Oh, ooh, the plot, the cliffhanger. Ooh. Oh, I love this. This is so cool. I didn't use her on this fight. I summoned her once, I think, because I wanted to watch her fight.
Fallen leaves tell a story indeed.
Oh my goodness. That's cool. I love it. Oh, that's such a cool concept of like analyzing the. Oh, I wonder if like this is true. Wait, I really wanna watch the next Tree one. People going, but I don't want to know which one that is. I wanna know the answer to the cliffhanger, my guy. Wait. Oh my jeez, I love that. I don't know which one's the next one though. I would not know. I know someone taught me there is a series just about the Erdtree, and it is like these three, I think. Someone taught me that. I don't know if that's true or not, but yeah, I'm just gonna watch the second one that he uploaded because I've been told it makes sense to watch them in this order. But if you guys have any other recommendation, if you know which one's the next one about the Erdtree, or if you have like a good order in which to watch them, feel free to let me know. But I'm also going to watch this one. It's called The Babylonian Tablet Tells the Secret Story of the Ancient Dynasty. I don't think this is to do with the Erdtree at all, so this is a bit of a topic jump. But I just wanted to get a feel for what this person does. So we're going to watch these two and see if we like it. And then if you guys have any recommendation which ones to move on to next, feel free to let me know. Okay, let's watch this one. This one was also released a year ago. Let's see. So rich, so powerful, that so proudly stood. Oh, I love this area. It's so pretty. Now prostrate, only her old ruins show and tombs that famous ancestors enclose. I like the quotes in this.
Hidden deep within the Mistwood Forest, there exists a conspicuously ornate rotunda, curiously out of place among the scattered ruins of the area. If one is bold enough to enter, they are treated to an elevator ride that serves as a journey back in time throughout the history of the lands between.
Back in
The deeper
time?
we go underground, the deeper we go back into history. Indeed, this is a Tarnished Archaeologist's dream. To have in situ stratigraphic evidence of civilizations long lost.
Oh, I'm excited. Oh, this is so right up my alley.
After passing through what we will eventually come to recognize as the eternal city of Nokron, we arrive at the lowest stratum and encounter the remnants of a civilization which is all but forgotten on the surface. This is the most ancient dynasty of the lands between, and it, as well as its enigmatic ruler, are the subject of this video.
I'm excited. I'm excited. This sounds like, the way he reads it sounds like you read an actual like essay on it. Like as if he actually studied it and wrote an essay about it. And it feels, I don't know, it feels really cool. I really quite like that it's a bit more on the serious side. It really matches the topic, I think.
The Oracle Bubble's item description, obtained from the bubble-blowing clay men scattered throughout these ruins, tells us of something called the Ancient Dynasty. But what was this ancient dynasty? The lingering clues of this long-gone civilization are found widely dispersed throughout the lands between. Ruins nearly identical to those from Shifa River are also found in the Ruined Palace ruins in Upper Liurnia.
I don't think I made that connection between those. I mean, it makes sense. At least the pillars. I don't think I noticed the statues. And I don't think I made that connection with the two areas, but that's interesting.
Attesting to the breadth of the dominion of the ancient dynasty at its peak. And though many of the extant ruins, such as the Old Palace ruins, only offer faint glimpses of their former magnificence, the mysterious and impressive Grand Cloister beneath Lower Liurnia reveals the civilizational heights these people achieved in their time. And yet, despite the unmistakable evidence of a glorious past empire, almost no item description in-game actually refers to it, with the aforementioned Oracle Bubbles being our only documentary evidence.
So all of this is theory and just suspicions and guesses. Okay, that's important to know when we watch these. I don't think this is confirmed. I think they just guessed it based on the like architecture and all that compared to what we know from real life.
How could a civilization with such apparent power and reach be so utterly forgotten? To answer this question, we must first establish what the ancient dynasty actually was. In the near total absence of documentary evidence, we must therefore rely on archaeological analysis to discover its secrets. First, though the site of grace next to the old palace ruins is called Ruined Labyrinth, evoking the famous Minoan labyrinth of the Palace of Knossos, whose peak dates to the Middle Bronze Age, circa 1500 BCE. In fact, archaeologically, the ruins draw from a range of historical inspirations, all of which together convey the historical breadth of this civilization.
Okay.
Stylistically, the ancient dynasty is an amalgam of architectural and iconographic features from the real world. Archaic steles with relief depictions characteristic of a natural religion, a temple perched atop an acropolis, making a holy citadel in the favorite way of the Greeks.
That view's sick. Oh, true. I didn't notice that one, I think.
And towering aqueducts and monumental architecture combining unfluted columns with angular Ionic capitals and arched colonnades, reminiscent of famous Hellenistic and Roman sites like Palmyra, which was destroyed by ISIS in 2015. Even the roads of this ancient dynasty are clearly distinct from the King's Road style seen throughout the above-ground lands between.
Okay.
In addition to the architectural features, there are several distinct iconographic elements. Throughout both the Mogwin Dynasty Mausoleum, as well as Schiefer River and even the Grand Cloister, there are richly symbolic steles of a few varieties. First, we have a stele of a bull beneath a rosette. This rosette is replicated independently in a large circular monument. Then we have clusters of tiered reliefs on steles which appear to show scenes involving groups of people performing a series of rituals.
Interesting.
We will return to these shortly, but suffice it to say for now that the combination of these monumental and iconographic elements with the Bronze Age classical and Hellenistic architecture indicate a civilization spanning multiple real-world historical epochs.
This is so interesting. I wish you could actually imagine you could actually make out a story based on those pillars. Like, imagine someone would actually sit down and analyze what these could mean and what kind of rituals they could be. Now I'm thinking, like, what if we can just analyze everything in this? What if someone actually sits down and tries to do that? That would be so freaking cool.
Just like in the eternal cities of the Mediterranean and Near East that have been continuously inhabited and developed over millennia, these features convey a sense of deep antiquity to the ancient dynasty. But by far, the most striking feature of these ruins are the towering statues of a single bearded figure,
They are
clutching
so
what
cool.
appears to be a tablet, whom we will refer to simply as the Dynast.
The Dynast.
There
Ooh.
is not a single location where we find ancient dynasty ruins without also seeing the Dynast.
I didn't
He is
notice
even
that.
seen guarding the entrance to the Grand Cloister, and later towering over the entire city like a god. And he is found in similarly prominent locations throughout the ancient dynasty mausoleum.
How did I not, like, that's such an obvious thing, but like, I don't, maybe I did notice it, but like, I don't really think about these things when I play this game. Because like, I'm like, okay, cool, we're underground, so it makes sense, the architecture is kind of the same everywhere, but like, the meaning that people get out of this and stuff is so incredible. Like, the creativity and knowledge and like, attention to detail that you need to have to like, not just notice it, but also give it reasoning. I don't know, it's really cool. I love that people do creative things like this with something as simple as a game.
Whoever he was, he must have been a figure of supreme importance to the ancient dynasty, and there are no other personified statues in this stratum. But can we know anything about him? Presumably, if we could read the text from the bottom of the aforementioned stela, written in vaguely Semitic script, we could learn something about the Dynast.
What?
As we cannot, we will instead rely on analysis of his statues themselves.
Okay. So
The
we
most
can't.
obvious feature of these statues is that he is invariably depicted clutching a tablet, with a second tablet resting at his feet.
Oh,
Perhaps this tablet holds the key to his mystery. And as it happens, we know exactly what the tablet is.
do we?
Let's begin by taking a closer look at the lower tablet resting at his feet. The tablet has an ancient script on the top register, and faint but very particular and simple geometric features on the bottom. A double concentric circle encases a few smaller circles, and some rectangular features with triangles on the outside.
A cat.
By themselves, these simple geometric features are quite difficult to interpret. But we recognize these curious features, and they point to an unmistakable real-world artifact as inspiration. The tablet is a perfect replica of artifact BM 92687, stored in the undisplayed vaults of the British Museum. The artifact is named the Imago Mundi, but is more commonly known as the Babylonian World Map.
What?
Unearthed in the mid-19th century in Iraq and dating to somewhere in the 7th century BCE, Imago Mundi is commonly cited as the oldest surviving map of the known world, and it perfectly overlays onto the Tarnished tablet. The real-world Imago Mundi depicts Babylon at its center, with the Euphrates River bisecting the world vertically and running via a canal into the circular Salt Sea that the Babylonians believed encircled the world. Several smaller cities and features are depicted as minor circles, and distant features, including mountain ranges, are shown as the outer triangles.
So these are cities, and the outer triangles are mountains, and then this is a river. So this is okay.
As you can see, each of these features is replicated in the Tarnished tablet perfectly.
Holy
It's
shit.
important to point out here that, while obviously not being a geographically accurate map, to the Neo-Babylonians at the time, the Imago Mundi represented the entire known world. If we compare this to the map of the lands between,
No.
we see some similarities. Most notably the fact that the known world is depicted as an island surrounded by a single circular ocean. There is also the intriguing similarity between an Imago Mundi's depiction of an ancient Mesopotamia, so named by the later Greeks because it lies between two rivers, and a world map depicting an underground ancient city which lies between the two great rivers of the Shifra and Ainsel. As the description of the Deep Root Depths map explains, quote, "At the very depths of the Erd Tree's majestic roots lies the source of the Ainsel and the Shifra rivers," end quote. These twin rivers share a source, just like the real-world Tigris and Euphrates rivers, and the ancient dynasty's conception of the known world as lying between two sacred rivers is no mere coincidence.
This is crazy.
The upper tablet, being clutched by the Tarnished, bears the same general structure and features of the lower tablet, including the Imago Mundi, namely the upper quadrangle barred for text, and the double circle representing the Salt Sea which surrounds the world. But instead of the world map features present on the lower tablet, on the upper tablet we have only a single representation, that of a tree. Though partially obscured by the overlaying forearm of the statue, it is clear that the main map features are absent and have been replaced by that of a single tree.
Is it the Erd Tree?
Taken together, the two tablets would appear to depict the entire world. The one at the Tarnished feet is a secular map, depicting towns and geographical features. The one embraced by the Tarnished, however, shows a single giant tree that encompasses the entire known world.
Oh
Together,
my
these
God.
images are certainly evocative of the notions of a world tree that are present in many different mythologies throughout the world. For example, the Norse Yggdrasil, or the Hulupu tree, from the oldest known myth of ancient Mesopotamia, the Epic of Gilgamesh, planted
is
by
so
the
cool.
goddess Inanna for wood to carve herself a throne. So what does any of this actually mean?
I'm
Well,
obsessed.
for starters, the architecture and iconography of the ancient dynasty show a truly ancient civilization that spanned many epochs. Second, this temporal depth is complemented by geographic breadth. From the map, we know that this dynasty had knowledge of the entire known world, that is, the known world of the lands between. From the distribution of the dynasty marblture, we know that the dynasty at its classical peak did indeed rule much of the known world. In real-world history, the first empire ever was established by Sargon the Great, who is said to have washed his hands in both the upper and lower seas depicted on the Imago Mundi. Likewise, the dynasty is shown astride an entire world map which lays at his feet, attesting to the scale of his dominion.
Oh my god.
Finally, we see an evolution of the faith through religious iconography. While the archaic steles found throughout the ancient dynasty do indeed have tree iconography, specifically showing rituals involving various attendants to sacred trees, they also equally show bulls, lions, and birds. All the characteristics of a more pluralistic natural religion.
Okay, I just need to pause and say that this is sick. Like, when he talked about the freaking plate that is at his feet and like in his arms, my mind was blown. I think I'm still processing that. The fact that they literally copied this pretty much exactly. And it's such a minor detail as well. It's like, they don't even shove it in your face. They really just, FROMSOFT really just did that and I hoped someone would notice and analyze it. And someone did. And I'm mind blown. This is sick.
This type of religion dominated the ancient world before the emergence of the so-called revealed religions. Those where the faith came through revelation by a prophet that communed with the divine. Zoroaster, Moses, Jesus, and Muhammad. All prophets whose revelation replaced prior natural religions. For one instructive example, we can look to the Roman Emperor Constantine, who, while not inventing the worship of Christ, took the first major step towards replacing the paganistic traditions with Christianity as the Roman state religion, a process which his successors would finish. Similarly, our dynast appears to not have been the first to practice the worship of a sacred tree, but the implication from his statue is clear. He has left behind the old ways and ushered in a new era, an era of the worship of the great tree. In the ruins of the ancient dynasty, the older depictions of the steles tell of a natural religion in the archaic age of this civilization. But in its peak iconography of the classical age, we see no more bulls, no more lions, no more tigers.
I keep waiting for him to mention Mog in all of this, because Mog is also underground and he keeps walking around the red area, and I keep waiting for him to drag Mog into this and be mind blown, but we only have a few minutes left, so I don't think that's gonna happen.
In the classical iconography, we see but one depiction, a great tree covering the world, and one prophet, the piously dressed and sagely groomed dynast. This is a revealed religion, to be sure. One symbol, one prophet. At its peak, the ancient dynasty appears to have had a moment of revelation that restored its ruined cities to new heights. Through his revelation, this prophet dynast replaced pagan worship of nature with a worship of a much more focused canon to faith. The bearded and barefooted dynast ushered in the era of the worship of the sacred tree, and through this symbol of the tree, he was victorious. Alas, no empire is immune to the ravages of time, but in its cultural impact, the dynasty lives on. And of course, in one critical way, the innovations of the ancient dynasty continue to have profound impact on the lands between. The first revealed religion of the sacred tree lives on in its many forms to this day.
I'm obsessed with these videos. I want to watch 500 more. Holy shit. This is so cool. I love it. Like, I love what this person does. It's so interesting. It's like so right up my alley. This is absolutely sick. The fact that someone takes knowledge about our like knowledge of the past and past dynasties and architecture and all that, and like find similarities, not just similarities, but something literally copied over to Elden Ring and make it make sense. This is so cool. Oh my holy shit. Big shout out to Tarnished Archaeologist. Sick. I can't wait to watch more of these videos. I really like that one. I probably even, I'm gonna say it, this is actually maybe potentially been my favorite thing to react to so far. Like, sick. Shout out to you. Well done for making such an interesting and cool and different point of view on the Elden Ring lore. I loved it. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe. I would really appreciate it. Also, feel free to check us out over on Twitch. We play through all the FROMSOFT games for the very first time. And yeah, I hope you had a good time. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I had a really, really, really good time. I'm gonna literally sit down and think about what I just watched. And I will see you in my next video. Bye bye, guys.